The most common and most simple element in the planet, hydrogen is everywhere around us. At the very beginning of the periodic table, hydrogen only has one orbit, containing one electron, the lowest of any other element. The most common molecule of hydrogen has a charge of +1, but it also has a molecule with a charge of -1. Hydrogen could have been discovered as early as 1671, when Robert Boyle created hydrogen gas by tinkering with iron and acidic substances. But hydrogen was not formally recognized as an element until 1766, thanks to Henry Cavendish. The element was named hydrogen in 1783 by Antoine Lavoisier, the name coming from two Greek words, hydro and genes, meaning forming water. It is estimated that around 90% of matter in the universe is made up of hydrogen in some way, shape, or form, from water, and even what we call mineral water, to methane, to hydrogen peroxide, a common household item used for bleaching hair and cleaning surfaces, to even us, as hydrogen makes up an average of 10% of the weight of living organisms. For example, in the water and fats in our bodies. Although it is above the alkali metals group, hydrogen is like the Pokemon Ditto of the periodic table. It is considered often to be in a group of its own because of its many unique characteristics. One such thing is that, unlike any other element, it can exist without any neutrons whatsoever. It can also form both a positive and negative ion, and at room temperature, it is colorless and also it is a gas, since it melts at -259 degrees Celsius and boils at only 6 degrees warmer. It is also a nonmetal, unlike any of the other elements on the left side of the periodic table where hydrogen is located. Another unique property is that when two hydrogen atoms fuse, they can create helium, the second element on the periodic table. Hydrogen can also bond with many other elements, which is what makes it so commonly found around us. In fact, it used to be used to help aircraft fly, as it is 14 times lighter than air. But this eventually was switched to helium, an element which is still less dense than air, but isn't as dangerous as hydrogen, since hydrogen, which may combust if exposed to oxygen, chlorine, or fluorine under pressure, could have been a key factor in some major disasters. This can include the Chernobyl disaster in 1986, when a nuclear power plant exploded in the Ukraine, in part due to production of the hydrogen gas, which was being produced by other chemical reactions from the first explosion which occurred, and the Challenger explosion, which, by coincidence, was also in 1986, when the spacecraft called the Challenger exploded shortly after its launch. Another earlier instance of hydrogen causing a disaster would be in 1937, when the Zeppelin called the Hindenburg burned down due to a hydrogen leak and a spark from potentially what was the static atmosphere of the Earth. As helium is a noble gas, it is not reactive and thus a much safer choice in air support. Despite this, hydrogen remains a source of fuel for some new vehicles, as it causes miniature explosions when it meets oxygen under high pressure, similar to the way that gasoline we already commonly use powers a car. It is also consumed by most of us daily, being in that cup of coffee on your desk or that cake you made for someone's birthday. That's right, about half of sugar is hydrogen, and it's the same deal with the glucose and fructose in your fruits and vegetables. Lastly, hydrogen has a half-life of 12.32 years before disintegrating or being burned by the sun into helium-3, another isotope of helium. Hydrogen is a unique element and can be helpful and harmful to us. But regardless of this, due to its unique characteristics, we really cannot live without it.